The screen fades to black. A low hum of tires on asphalt. The glow of headlights cuts through the darkness. A lone voice begins. Imagine driving alone at night. The road is empty, stretching into the desert like it has no end. The air is dry, the hum of your engine steady, and the only company you have is the white dashed line, flashing beneath your headlights. You're on Route 66, the most famous highway in America, but out here in the dead of night it feels less like freedom and more like a trap. You see him before you believe it. A man standing by the roadside. His clothes are old, too old, like something out of the 1920s. A torn jacket, dusty boots, and a hat that hides most of his face. His thumb is raised, asking for a ride, and against every instinct screaming no, you slow down. Because that's what people do on Route 66, right? The spirit of the open road, the kindness of strangers. You roll down your window, you ask him where he's headed. His voice is low, gravelly. Anywhere but here. He climbs into the passenger seat. The air turns cold. You don't notice it right away, but your breath begins to fog in front of you. You grip the wheel tighter. Something about him is wrong. His skin looks pale, too pale. And then you see his eyes. They catch the reflection of your headlights, glowing faintly like dying embers in a fire. You don't speak. You can't, because suddenly the silence is heavy, suffocating. The only sound is the tires rolling over asphalt. You glance in the rearview mirror, just for a second, and your stomach drops. He's gone. The seat beside you is empty, but your car still smells like sulfur. A faint scorch mark smolders on the leather where he sat. You slam the brakes, pull over, heart racing. But the road is empty. No figure on the roadside. No footprints in the dust. Just the endless highway stretching into blackness. You try to shake it off. Maybe you imagined it. Maybe exhaustion is playing tricks. You get back on the road. The headlights slice through the dark. Minutes pass, your breathing steadies, and then your blood turns to ice. He's back, sitting in the passenger seat like he never left. His head slowly turns toward you. His lips curl into the faintest smile, cracked and unnatural. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. You feel it, a pressure in your chest, a voice in your head whispering, "Keep driving." You floor the gas pedal, desperate to escape. But the speedometer climbs and the road doesn't change. The highway stretches endlessly. No towns, no exits, just black desert swallowing the horizon. Your hands ache from gripping the wheel. Your eyes burn, and still he sits there, watching. You risk one more glance in the mirror. This time he's not just in the passenger seat, he's in the back seat too, his pale face staring from behind you. Then another in the mirror's corner. And another. Dozens of him. Every reflection filled with that same hollow stare. You scream, swerving. The car fishtails. Tires screech. You fight to control it. The desert blurs past. And then silence. The engine dies. The lights cut out. You're stranded. Darkness swallows you whole. For a long moment, nothing. No sound, no wind. Just your heart pounding in your ears. Then slowly the smell of sulfur grows stronger. You hear it, the creak of a door hinge. You look left, the passenger door. It's open, and he's standing there. Not outside the car, not on the roadside, inside, inches from your face. His hand reaches out, burned, charred. His voice whispers one word. Drive. You don't remember starting the engine, but suddenly it roars back to life. The car surges forward. Your hands aren't your own. The wheel jerks without your control. Your foot slams the pedal flat. You're a prisoner in your own vehicle, racing through endless night with a demon as your co-pilot. And here's the part they don't tell you. Survivors, what few there are, say the ride doesn't end when the car stops. It doesn't end when the sun rises. It doesn't end when you wake up in your own bed. The hitchhiker stays with you, in your rearview mirror, in your passenger seat, in every long drive you take late at night. Some say he's the ghost of a man murdered during the road's construction. Others swear he's a demon bound to the asphalt by a blood sacrifice. But one thing is always the same. If you see him on Route 66, don't stop. Don't slow down. Don't even look at him. Because once he rides with you, he never gets out. The headlights fade. The hum of the engine dies. A voice, low and gravelly, cuts through the silence. Keep driving. Screen fades to black. Dark screen. The sound of a car door creaking open. A flashlight clicks on. A dusty roadside in Oklahoma. A battered notebook lies half buried in the dirt. They found it just after sunrise. A state trooper pulled his cruiser over on a quiet stretch of Route 66, not far from an abandoned gas station. He wasn't looking for trouble, just taking a break when something caught his eye. A leather-bound notebook, weathered, torn, as if it had been there for years. But the pages were crisp, fresh. He opened it, and inside was a story no officer ever wanted to read. The story of the first victim. The handwriting was shaky, uneven. The first entry was dated just 2 weeks earlier. I don't know what I'm running from. Just that I can't stop driving. Something out here is following me. I saw him last night. A hitchhiker on the side of the road. Didn't look right. His face white as chalk. His eyes glowing. I didn't stop. God help me, I should have kept going faster. But now he's in my mirror. Always in my mirror. The trooper flipped through page after page. The man, whoever he was, described endless nights of driving. No towns, no signs, just black desert swallowing the world. He tried stopping at motels, but every time he closed his eyes, he woke up behind the wheel. Headlights cutting through the same stretch of highway. The hitchhiker staring from the passenger seat. The next entry was frantic. Ink smudged as if written in shaking hands. It's not just him anymore. I saw more of them last night. Dozens. Every reflection, my windows, my mirrors, even my windshield, filled with his face. I smashed the rearview mirror. Didn't matter. When I looked down at the dash, he was staring back at me in the glass. I can't get rid of him. He won't leave. The trooper felt the hair rise on his arms. Because when he found the notebook, the abandoned car wasn't far away. A rusted sedan sitting by the roadside, the engine cold, doors wide open, and on the driver's seat, burn marks, deep, black, and shaped like hands. He turned back to the journal, swallowing hard. The final pages were darker, the handwriting almost unreadable, letters scratching across the paper like claw marks. I don't sleep anymore. I can't. Every time I blink, I see his eyes, red, burning. He whispers in my ear, tells me to keep driving. Says if I stop, it's over. I don't know what he means, but I think I'm already dead. I don't feel real anymore. My hands, they don't look like mine. The last entry was dated 3 days before the notebook was found. He's in the car with me now. Not beside me, not behind me, in me. My chest burns, my bones ache. I hear his voice, not outside, but inside my skull. He says I'm the road now. He says I'll never stop. I can't fight him anymore. If you're reading this, don't pick him up. Don't even look at him. He wants more drivers, more souls. He wants you. The trooper slammed the book shut, breath shaking. He radioed for backup, but the words never left him. That night, when he sat in his cruiser on patrol, he caught something in his rearview mirror. A figure, pale, silent, watching. He ripped the mirror down, threw it on the passenger seat, tried to laugh it off. But then he smelled it, sulfur, burnt leather. And when he looked again, the mirror wasn't empty. It showed the face of the hitchhiker, smiling. The notebook was logged into evidence. The car was towed. The man who wrote it was never found. His name, his face, his license, gone. No records, no family, no trace. As if he'd been erased. As if he'd never existed. But the notebook remained. A warning carved in ink and fear. Proof that Route 66 is not just a highway. It's a hunting ground. And somewhere, out there in the endless dark, the hitchhiker is still waiting for the next car to slow down, for the next driver to stop, for the next soul to write the final page of their story. The screen fades to black. A page turns. The final line of the journal echoes in a whisper. He's in the car with me now. The screen opens on black and white footage of men in dusty overalls, hammering stakes into the ground, laying asphalt under the burning sun. A deep voice begins to narrate. America calls it the Mother Road, Route 66, a highway of freedom stretching from Chicago to Los Angeles, a symbol of travel, adventure, and the American dream. But every dream has a shadow, and the shadow of Route 66 is soaked in blood. Construction began in the 1920s in the middle of the desert. Hundreds of workers toiled in unbearable heat, breaking rock, pouring tar, carving a road through endless wilderness. Many died, some from exhaustion, some from accidents, and some under circumstances no one could explain. Workers whispered about strange rituals taking place at night. Strange fires burning at the edge of camp. Men in black robes standing in a circle, chanting in a language no one recognized. At the center of those rituals, a sacrifice. One story, buried in newspapers from 1926, tells of a drifter named Samuel Holt. He was hired to work the road, but he disappeared. Locals claimed he'd been chosen by a secret cult, men who wanted the highway to last forever. They believed blood would bind the road, give it power, make it eternal. Samuel was taken under the cover of night. His body was never found, his name erased. But on the mile where he vanished, accidents began to multiply. Workers crushed by falling rock, horses refusing to move, fires erupting without cause. And when the road was finally finished, strange things started happening to drivers. Headlights cutting through the dark only to reveal a man standing at the roadside, pale, silent, thumb raised, begging for a ride. Historians today believe that Samuel Holt was the sacrifice, that his soul was chained to the highway, forever doomed to wander it, searching for release. But it's not just a ghost story. Because along Route 66, in states like Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Arizona, reports of the same figure span almost a century. Different drivers, different cars, but the same face, the same eyes, the same curse. In 1948, a family reported picking up a hitchhiker near Gallup, New Mexico. He climbed into the car, said nothing, and vanished a mile later. They stopped in shock, only to find burn marks where he had sat. In 1972, a trucker swore he saw the same man walking in the middle of the highway. He slammed the brakes, horn blaring, but instead of hitting him, the man walked straight through the truck. In 1999, a tourist couple driving cross-country stopped to help a pale figure by the roadside. He climbed in, whispered only one word, "Drive," and then disappeared. Days later, their car was found abandoned. Doors wide open, engine still running. The couple was never seen again. Paranormal investigators link it back to that original sacrifice. The cult believed the blood pact would ensure the road's survival, but it came with a price. The hitchhiker is not a ghost, not just a spirit. He is the road itself, bound to it, feeding on it. Every soul he takes strengthens the curse. Every driver who disappears becomes part of the endless highway. That's why the road seems eternal. That's why Route 66, unlike other highways, never fades from legend. It is alive. Locals avoid certain miles after dark. Truckers whisper warnings on their radios, and old-timers at diners along the road say the same thing. If you see him, don't stop. Don't even slow down. Because once you let him inside, once you give him a seat in your car, you've already made the pact. You've offered him your life, and he won't stop until the road claims you. And here's the chilling part. Researchers recently uncovered construction maps of Route 66. On them are strange markings, symbols, drawn in the margins, circles, crosses, stars made of lines. At first they thought it was graffiti, but one historian recognized them. They match occult sigils used in early 20th century rituals. Symbols of binding, of sacrifice, which means the curse was not an accident. It was planned. Route 66 was not just built with blood. It was built to trap it. Some say Samuel Holt's ghost still wanders, desperate for release. Others believe it's no longer Samuel at all. But something worse, something that took his shape. Something that rides with you, whispers in your ear, burns itself into your soul. But one truth echoes across generations. The road remembers. The road is hungry. And if you drive Route 66 at night, sooner or later, the road will take you. The camera pans down to a cracked mile marker covered in weeds. A shadow moves across the asphalt. A voice whispers low and gravelly, "Keep driving." Darkness. A radio crackles with static. The sound of a police dispatcher calling in missing persons reports. The camera pans across empty cars abandoned on the shoulder of Route 66. Headlights still glowing in the desert night. It starts small. A driver goes missing. Then another. At first, police dismiss it as accidents, runaways, desert dangers. But the numbers keep climbing. Cars left running, doors wide open, belongings untouched. Every victim last seen on the same stretch of Route 66. The hauntings are escalating. Locals call it the Devil's Mile. Truckers refuse to drive it after dark. Tourists are warned away by motel owners. Yet still, the stories spread. Every month, another disappearance. Every month, another life swallowed by the road. Reports pile up. A mother driving with her daughter swore. She saw a man in the headlights, pale, still. She hit the brakes, heart pounding. But when she opened her eyes, he was already inside the car. The daughter screamed. By the time the police arrived, the car was empty. Only the child's stuffed animal remained sitting on the passenger seat, burned. Paranormal investigators began to take notice. One team drives out to the Devil's Mile. Cameras rolling, determined to capture proof. They park at a rest stop, circle around a campfire, and set up recorders. At first, nothing. Just the sound of wind across the desert. Then the temperature drops. Their breath fogs. Static crackles through their equipment. One investigator asks into the dark, "Who are you?" For a moment, silence. Then a voice. Not from the radio, not from the air, but from everywhere. A low, gravelly whisper that makes their blood run cold. "Keep driving." The team packs up in panic, racing back to their van. They speed down Route 66, headlights bouncing across the cracked asphalt. And that's when the figure appears, standing in the middle of the road. They slam the brakes. The van screeches, fishtailing. But when the dust clears, the hitchhiker is gone. In his place, black scorch marks seared into the pavement. The investigators return home. Days later, 2 of them vanish. Their cars found abandoned, engines still warm. Cameras smashed. Memory cards melted into slag. The FBI takes notice. They search the Devil's Mile, combing it for evidence. But every time they set up roadblocks, equipment fails. Radios die. Engines refuse to start. Even their watches stop ticking. One agent makes the mistake of glancing in his rearview mirror. He sees a pale figure staring back at him. Hours later, he drives his cruiser into the desert, full speed, never braking. The car is found wrapped around a cactus, doors torn open. No body inside. The hauntings spread beyond the highway. Victims began reporting nightmares, visions of endless driving, headlights burning into darkness, the hitchhiker whispering in the passenger seat. Some wake up with burns on their skin, shaped like handprints. Others swear they've been marked, sigils burned faintly into their arms. Matching symbols found in the old construction maps of Route 66. The curse is no longer confined to the asphalt. It is reaching outward, pulling people in. And here's the most terrifying part. Security cameras at gas stations along Route 66 begin capturing footage. The same figure, walking past pumps at midnight, standing at the edge of the road, pausing to stare directly into the lens. Every time, the footage corrupts, glitches, distorts, but his face remains clear, pale, hollow, waiting. Locals organize vigils. Roadside crosses dot the Devil's Mile, each one marking a victim. But the deaths don't stop. In fact, they grow worse, more violent. One family is found in their car, miles off the highway. All doors locked. No signs of forced entry. Every passenger burned to ash, seats seared black. Only the driver's seat empty, as if someone else had been behind the wheel. Historians connect the dots. The curse is feeding. Every new victim strengthens the bond between the hitchhiker and the road. Every disappearance adds another ghost car to his phantom convoy. And sometimes, late at night, drivers swear they see them. Dozens of cars with glowing headlights driving silently down the highway. No sound, no drivers, just rows of empty vehicles following the hitchhiker into the dark. By now, police don't deny it. Truckers trade warnings on their radios, and paranormal forums flood with desperate posts. People beg for help, for answers. But one chilling truth is becoming clear. The hauntings are no longer about one ghost, one man, or one story. The hitchhiker is building an army, an endless chain of stolen lives bound to the highway. And soon, Route 66 won't be the only road haunted. The camera pans across the Devil's Mile. Dozens of abandoned cars line the road. The headlights flicker one by one. A shadow passes across the screen. A whisper fills the air. Keep driving. The screen opens on an abandoned stretch of Route 66. The desert wind howls. A broken mile marker juts from the ground, half buried in weeds. The camera pushes closer as a low voice begins to narrate. Every haunting has an origin, and every curse has a place it began. For the Devil's Mile, that place is here, a forgotten marker, hidden beneath decades of dirt and neglect. Locals whisper it is the mile where Samuel Holt, the drifter sacrificed during the road's construction, was buried alive. His blood soaked into the asphalt, his soul chained to the highway forever. And now the Warrens, or their successors, stand at this very mile. They've traced the pattern of deaths. The symbols, the journal entries, the voices, everything points here. This is where the curse can be broken. The team sets up at dusk. Salt circles, holy water, candles fighting against the desert wind. An open Bible rests on the hood of their car. They begin to pray. Their voices steady, but the air grows heavy. The temperature plummets. The wind stops. Silence falls across the desert. Too deep, too unnatural. And then, headlights appear. At first just one, faint, flickering in the distance. But soon dozens. Rows of cars. Old sedans from the 1940s. Rusted pickups from the 1960s. Station wagons from the 80s. Even modern SUVs. All glowing white, their engines silent, their wheels turning without sound. The phantom convoy stretches for miles. Every car carrying shadows. Drivers with hollow eyes. Passengers frozen in screams. And at the head of them all, the hitchhiker. He stands in the middle of the road. Pale, expressionless. His eyes glowing faintly red. He raises his hand, not to hitchhike this time, but to point. Directly at the team. The ground trembles. Asphalt cracks. The candles blow out. Shadows pour from the phantom cars, rushing toward the circle of salt. The Warrens chant louder, voices shaking but unbroken. Holy water sizzles against the ground. Crosses glow faintly. For a moment, the tide holds back. The circle holds. But then, the voice comes. Not from outside. From inside their heads. Low, gravelly, unmistakable. Keep driving. One investigator screams. His body convulses, lifted from the ground, eyes burning red. The hitchhiker is inside him, forcing his mouth open, whispering in a voice not his own. You can't stop the road. You are the road now. The team fights, holy water burning the possessed man's skin. He thrashes, shrieking before collapsing, smoke rising from his body. For a moment it seems the ritual is working. Then the phantom convoy surges forward. Cars swerve violently, headlights blinding, engines roaring like thunder. The circle shatters. The desert is filled with the sound of screeching tires. The Warrens press on, their prayers rising above the chaos. The ground shakes, asphalt splitting to reveal fire beneath. For the first time, the hitchhiker falters. His pale form flickers, twisting, screaming in fury. They pour the last of the holy water on the mile marker. The Bible bursts into flames, words burning into the desert night. A deafening scream echoes across Route 66. The phantom cars explode into dust. The shadows vanish. And the hitchhiker? He is dragged into the crack in the road, clawing at the earth. His glowing eyes staring up one last time before fire swallows him whole. Silence. The wind returns. The desert is still. The team falls to their knees, exhausted, bruised, trembling. It's over. The curse is broken. The devil's mile is free. Or so they think. Because as dawn breaks, a trucker passes along the same stretch. He glances in his mirror, just for a second, and he sees him. Sitting in the passenger seat, pale, silent, smiling, the trucker's scream is swallowed by the roar of his engine as his rig barrels down the highway, never slowing, never stopping. The camera pulls back. Route 66 stretches endlessly into the horizon. The sound of tires hums low, growing louder. A whisper fades in, chilling and familiar. Keep driving. The screen cuts to black. Subscribe for more scary stories every day. Like, share, and comment what haunted place we should cover next.